6 months ago, he was called disrespectful, ungrateful, and gambling with World War III. You know, he was talked about for not wearing a suit to his meeting with the Trump. I'm talking about Ukrainian President Zelensky. You see, he's coming back to the White House later today, Monday, August 18th, 2025. But he's not coming alone when his meeting with Trump. He's bringing the European Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen, the German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, the NATO Secretary General, Mark Rutte, and British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. And yes, they're going to talk about the Russian-Ukrainian war, and three things in particular. 1. Security guarantees. 2. Territorial issues. And 3. Ongoing support for Ukraine. And supposedly, this meeting is a precursor to a follow-up meeting between Russia, America, and Ukraine. And that would be Putin, Trump, and Zelensky. Me personally, I'm not sure that follow-up meeting is going to happen. You see, before the Trump and Putin met last Friday, August 15th, 2025 in Alaska, well, Trump wanted a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. But Putin, he wanted a peace agreement. And he maintained his desire for that peace agreement during the meeting last Friday and since. Putin also wants the eastern region of Donetsk ceded to Russia from Ukraine. Ukraine doesn't want to cede any more land. You see, in this over 3.5-year war between Russia and Ukraine, Russia has occupied about 20% of Ukraine, and they still hold that. But Ukraine doesn't want to give that up and doesn't want to give up any other land. So it's a big sticking point. And Putin is basically saying until he gets such an agreement that he's going to get Donetsk, he doesn't want to talk about ending the war. Now, following that meeting last Friday, this is what Trump had to say after the meeting with Putin. Well, Trump says Kiev has to make the deal. Duh, they're in the war with Russia, not America. But I guess maybe the Trump thought he could go in there and cut a deal and make Ukraine agree to it? What do you all think? You think that's what he went in there thinking? And Trump says that Russia is the big power, and they're not, talking about Ukraine. Again, duh. But what Russia thought was going to be a quick war, a matter of weeks, it's been 3.5 years and still going on. And then finally, Trump described Putin as a strong guy, tough as hell. Doesn't that sound like somebody who's describing their hero, their daddy? Someone who has a high amount of admiration for another person? That's what I think. What do you all think? Let me know in the comments. Now, Trump took to social media yesterday on Sunday, August 18th, 2025, as he usually does, and talking about the talks between Russia and Ukraine, and he said, big progress. Do you think any big progress has been made? I don't think so. But what do you all think? And in all caps, Trump wrote on social media yesterday, stay tuned. You see, he loves to shout in all caps in his social media post. Now, let me talk briefly about a post I made yesterday about white people and YTs and racism. And I asked a question, or quite a few questions, basically saying, why can't white people, because I think there's more white people than racist YTs, get the racist YTs to stop being racist, stop being, racist towards black and browns. I should say black and brown people. I'm sorry. For me, the overall comment, the theme of the comments, rather, is we, white people, can't make anybody do anything, especially the YTs. I don't believe that. You know why? What has Trump been doing since January 20th, 2025? He's been making a lot of people do a lot of things. And that's just one person. That's just my thoughts. What do you all think on that? 3 reminders, and I'll wrap up this video. Black out the system, September 16th through the 20th, 2025. If you have questions on that, please go to their website, blackoutthesystem.com. The second reminder, keep your eyes on the prize. The prize is the White House and democracy in America. Do not get distracted by the foolishness, mayhem, debauchery, and lies coming out of the 47th administration, which some people are starting to call a regime. What do y'all think about that? That's a little scary to me, to be called a regime in America. That's scary to me. And 3, don't forget about what tomorrow is. Yes, I know it's Tuesday, August 19th, 2025, but that's the deadline for the House subpoena of those documents. Now, if you liked this video or if you learned something, please hit that follow button. That helps me out immensely. And as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.